Hello and welcome back to the Rally Cry halftime show here, where I continue to destroy the Casa de Caster living room through new and various means. That's game 3. Cloud9 leading the series 2-1. Dragku, your predictions coming true. You're the only one on the desk that had faith in them.
Yeah, wrecked.
Oh.
Hey, it's not over yet. All right, let's relax a little bit.
Yeah, let's walk through how it happened in that game, because Beatdown, there were a couple moments from the game that you wanted to highlight, in particular First Blood, which we actually wanted to get Dragq's thoughts on as how First Blood happened. It seemed like things were going well for Dignitas early on. I honestly, again, this is now 2 games where even though Cloud9 won it, I still kind of was thinking Dignitas had it in the bag, actually with a really good counter gank here though. So Dragq, when you're watching this play, is this just unlucky from Cloud9, or were they just not properly tracking where XU could be?
I think this was actually, like, it's either you get the one shot, or else, like, if XU is counter ganked, then they're always going to win, because Tristana's really strong 2v2. And then, like, this follow-up gank was like, well, if this was my solo queue game, I would, like, spam rage at the jungler and really want to FF. This is, like,
well, hey, you lived. I mean, if you're the support there.
No, but it's, like, even getting disaccelerated from, like, this gank is, like, it should be kind of GG. Well,
sure.
In solo queue, at least.
Sure. Yeah, it was pretty rough. But at Beatdown, actually was very active in this early game. I think that's kind of the big takeaway. You have to be on the Elise, but still playing to his strengths.
Yeah, and this is what happens next in the follow-up clip, and where things really start to fall apart for Dig really is plays true to what Zeyzal told me yesterday going into the series against TLC, that they realized, they knew what they had to do going up against Dignitas the second time around. And I think that understanding of you're playing a comp that is trying to scale for a bit later, you don't actually have that early game dominance that either Dig or TLC like to play for, and you understand how they want to play the game and catch them out. I mean, if we could throw it to the second clip, we could see exactly what Cloud9 do to really turn things around. And that play in particular is so important, and it's that really huge development for Cloud9 across these last 2 weeks, because here, right after the turret goes down, you see the teleport come through. This is the read from Cloud9 Challengers, and they get so much as a result of it. This is where they break the game wide open. This is where Lost, who was really struggling because of what we saw early on, gets himself back in the game, and after that, it got a lot harder to play because of the team comp that Cloud9 had.
After Spawn's been playing the Draven 3 games in a row now, and this is after they had a really slick play where they almost kill Lost top lane. So again, Dragq, I want to bring it back to you from a player perspective. In a series when moments like that are happening, how do you try and keep yourself in the game from Dignitas's perspective? Because obviously they weren't able to bring it back in this example, but when things are going that bad as a Draven, how do you try and get back into it?
Well, you just gotta, you just gotta prage. You just gotta pray a bit, and hopefully you can, the enemy team makes a mistake, because from that situation, I think Tomio and Fake God kind of smurfed it, and I think that was the big gold swing, and that's kind of when Dig fell apart, in my opinion, at least.
Okay. Sure. Well, we have one more replay that we'll take a look at here. So this was towards the end of the game. Beatdown, walk me through why you wanted to highlight this one.
Yeah, and I brought this one up because, again, one, of course, Cloud9 have such a big gold lead at this point. They have the Dragon Soul, but really it's also the composition. You take out Zeyzal, that's all well and good, but look at the rest of the comp here. You still have a very strong Lost. Tomio, Fake God on this angle. They don't actually know where he is. Maybe he gets spotted out on the sweeper, but the point is, between Lost throwing out autos, the poke, Diplex controlling space so well with the barrels.
These barrels are gross.
Exactly. And that space denial meant that even though this is maybe the only chance Dignitas had to send it for a Baron to get themselves the potential comeback, it just wasn't available. I mean, watch the ultimate from Diplex. Diplex does so much work here, and that has got to be the worst just walk of shame that Dignitas had to take.
Diamond was just playing like a bullet hell game right there, where he's like trying to dodge all the Maokai saplings. He's trying to dodge all the Gragas barrels. I showed how difficult it was for Dignitas to, even after getting a pick, get back into that game. Cloud9 just stalled it out and had a really solid finish to that one as well. So that's game 3 in a nutshell. Cloud9 lead the series. Dragq's prediction looks like it might be coming true here, but we weren't able to get through all of the survey from last halftime show, so we wanted to take the opportunity to finish out with the rapid fire round. Now you might be wondering why we have this weirdly shaped table in front of us here, and that's because Dragq has made a grave mistake in challenging me to an arm wrestling match live on broadcast. So the way that we're going to do this one is, because Dragq, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I do train. So to make sure nobody's hurt and that we stay safe, Beatdown's going to be my teammate. I'm going to have the rapid fire round questions. And as I ask Beatdown the questions, if he gets one right, then I just hold my position. If he gets one wrong, then you gain advantage on me in the arm wrestling match. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to start off with position. Then you'll get closer. Then you get 2 hands. And then the final one is Rafa, who's standing off screen, will run in and help you out, okay?
Okay.
All right, Rafa, are you ready? Cool, we got our live 1 studio audience member here. All right, so, Beatdown.
Yes.
Name the most overrated pick in finals, according to the surveyed players. There are 5 possible answers here. Can you name as many of them as you possibly can?
All right. And so finals as in today.
You're going down, Draku. Finals as in today.
Okay.
Yep. This is the expectation from the players.
The most
The
overrated.
most overrated champions.
I'm gonna
take a look at the
say
answers.
maybe players are thinking Elise.
Elise? Oh, no. All right.
Okay.
All right, Draku's get me down. Oh, come on. You can pull a little bit harder than that. You can pull a little bit harder than that. All right, there we go. All right, beat down. Give me another one.
Most overrated champion. Most overrated champion. Zeri.
Zeri? No, Zeri's not on there. Beat down. You gotta save me. What's going on here?
All right. Hold
Thanks,
on.
Beatdown. Win
I got
trading.
another one. I got another one.
That's 2 errors. Okay, you got 1 left.
I'm gonna guess it's
Come
a
on.
jungler.
Come on, beat down. Oh, he's really giving it his all now.
Why?
All right, you get 2 hands now. You get 2 hands. All right, you got me down. You got me down. All right, we're gonna start over for the next one. Oh, Rafa! That was right into the face. No warning.
Man, this
No
guy's
warning
broke,
at all.
bro.
That's some aim though.
All right, we did not lose the most overrated pick. We did not lose the most overrated
was
pick.
it?
Most overrated picks. Annie coming in as the #1 most overrated pick
Do not agree
chosen
with that.
from the
Go on.
players. Cho'Gath coming in at number 2. Jinx, Scion, and Thresh were all tied for number 3.
Wow.
I agree with Fresh.
You agree with Thresh? Why do you agree with Thresh?
Well, I can't play Fresh.
All right. So that's just
right, fair
cope.
enough.
None of those champions are overrated. Like, what is this?
Okay, I think Annie might be. I actually am not an Annie believer, personally.
Really? I
But we
thought
haven't
you
seen
were the
her
one
so
who
far.
loved the Annie Flex. What happened,
I think she's
Kangas?
strong.
Between like last
think so?
week?
Yeah, I think she's really.
I think she's overrated, though, in terms of how often she's picked. But we haven't been seeing many of these. Thresh is the only one that we've seen locked in, and it did just lose that last game. So think of it that way. Think of it that way. All right, number 2.
Nice cope.
You ready again?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna win. We're gonna win one of these beatdown.
Yeah,
Come on.
no, this one for
Come
sure.
on, give
this
it
one
to
for
me.
sure.
Who will be the most picked champion in finals? Remember, we
this
asked
was
the
the
players
guess.
this. This is their survey.
Wukong.
Wukong is on there.
Let's go.
Draku, you're going down. Oh, now I get a win. All right, give me another one.
It's probably gonna be another jungler. Wukong. Maokai.
Maokai? No, Maokai's not on there. All right.
Let's go Beatdown.
I remember, be careful on your elbow. Don't do this at home, kids. It can be dangerous. All right, give me another one, beatdown.
All right, it's got to be another. Am I gonna say that one? No. Okay, we'll say Zeri.
Oh, Zeri. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, Zeri's on there. All right. Incredible. Okay. Do you have the next one, beatdown? Come on, give it to me.
Bye.
Vi. Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. There's one more. Oh, you're going down.
All right, let me
get the
think.
last one.
Junglers. Come on, brain. Think of stuff. Come on, brain.
I'm going to
You're
give you
so
a hint.
smart.
It's not a jungler. Please
Okay,
no.
wow,
Please don't
great.
guess a
Okay.
jungler.
It's a jungler. It's a jungler.
If it's not a jungler, it's got to be a marksman.
He's not
I'm
going
gonna
to
say
get it.
Aphelios.
No, it's not a Felios.
Damn.
All right, that was 3 wrong. It's Rakan. Rakan is the #1 voted for the most picked champion.
I forgot about Rakan.
Yeah?
See that?
He hasn't been... Has he? I don't remember him being locked in this series yet.
No.
It was locked in game 2.
Yeah, Diamond locked.
Game 2.
Yeah, Diamond
okay,
played it.
cool. Well, memory of a goldfish, everybody. Clearly, my skills lie elsewhere. Rafa, can we throw up the timer as well? We got a producer, Rafa, here live, just so I can see when pick and ban will be starting. Thank you. Just on the screen. This is great. We have assistants live here, everybody. All right, let's do one more here before we get ready for pick and ban, because I'm assuming that'll be about enough time. Who wins, and what is the series score? Again, we surveyed the players this question. This was what they guessed going into the series itself. This is kind of cheating because there's only so many answers we can have. So I'm only going to give you one singular strike beatdown.
Wow.
You think you can do this for me?
I think I can do this. I have to guess the who wins and the series score, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And again, there's going to be multiple answers here given by the players.
Sure.
Just don't get it wrong.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Cloud9.
Okay.
3-1.
Yes, that was the second most popular answer.
Awesome.
3-1 from Cloud9.
Okay.
From all the players' perspective and the casters. So yeah, okay, you went a little bit. You went a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Pete, can you give another one?
No, you can't.
Oh wait, no, wait,
going-
I won. I won that one, so I went a little bit.
Yeah. Stop
I
cheating.
don't know the
Greg.
rules of
Stop
my own
cheating.
game.
I know. That's tough because there's like, oh my god. All right, I'm gonna say Dignitas 3-1.
Dignitas 3-1. That's also on there.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, we're winning it.
We're winning.
Okay, Pete, you can do this. There's only 2 other responses that got more than 4 guesses.
All right, I got this.
Okay.
Dignitas 3-0.
What's that up?
Rafa, do you want to do the honors?
No!
Get over here. Get over
Oh
here,
my
big guy.
god.
All right, I'm going to hold on with all my might, but Beatdown inted me.
Get him, Mark. I don't know if you can hear me, but get him.
The most popular answer was C9 3-2. That won
Damn.
5 times. There's a lot. There's a lot happening right now. After that, it was Dignitas 3-2. Not a single. I think that there was only one vote.
3-0?
There was one vote for 3-0 both ways, but everybody else was voting more in the middle. And then there were a bunch of votes that did not read the question and just said C9 or Dig with no series score. So I couldn't tally those ones.
You know what, Kangas? I think the
You have to
big
give players
takeaway
direct
here,
instructions.
I think we got a big takeaway here. And realistically, I think what we all learned is that Dreku's stronger than you are. I think that's all we really have to.
I think so. I think that is the big takeaway,
Oh,
honestly.
Dreku, you've been coping
No
all
way,
day.
man.
Can you give me this one, please, bro? Come on.
Nah, bro, you don't understand, bro. This guy.
Also, I'm going to need to probably get my head checked out because I think Rafa gave me a concussion. So let's go
Oh,
through the
no.
final 2 here before we get into pick and ban. We're getting ready for that one. I asked the players who in the finals would get the most kills. Lost actually was the most voted on that one. And guess who's leading this series most kills?
Right.
Lost at 18
Wow.
kills so far in the 3 games. And then I asked where on what location on Summoner's Rift a jungler is most likely to die. I don't know how to track that based on the games so far. But apparently everyone thinks that Crab is the commonplace for junglers to die. That's a pretty obvious choice. Thank you, DragQ, for playing along with that game. Thank you, Beatdown. We're going to throw it back over to the casters because pick and ban is ready for game number 4.
Welcome back to the caster desk, everyone. I'm Azelm, joined by Cubby and Joshi yet again.
still here.
We are getting underway for our 4th game of the day. Dignitas Challengers backs up against the wall. But Cloud9, they've dreamt of this moment. They are 1 step away from claiming that grand finals victory.
I know. We even got a behind-the-scenes look. I gotta say, I think this is like actually a real reenactment of Gragas plus Maokai, just protecting this area. See, I
Body
thought it was
slam in there somewhere.
It's accurate. You know, everyone just huddles up around Lost. He's able to pew-pew, and we're good to go.
I thought it was going to be a reference to their recent drama that they've been watching, right? Just all coming together. It's a team bonding. Go check it out on Twitter. We post about it quite a bit. But Cloud9...
It's too funny.
Too funny.
It's too funny.
It's too funny. Remember to check out what it is that Fate God has been talking about. But this could be the last game. Cloud9 1 game away from returning to glory, finding another championship for themselves.
It's been a long split, gentlemen. It has been our first split of NACL, and while we still potentially have a Game 5 under hands, Cloud9 looked so dominant, and it is now up to Dignitas to find an answer here. They'll be on the blue side.
No.
We do get the Zaya and the Sejuani and the Wukong from Dignitas, while Cloud9 on the other side will be banning out those ADCs that we've seen pretty heavily prioritized as the Varus, the Caitlyn, and the Vi.
And I think the big thing for this series...
Maokai!
They had to deny it from Tomio. It's been too good, especially like if you want to play pick poke, you need to control vision those pockets. Maokai is way too good against that. Saplings get vision. You can always force with Nature's Grasp, how powerful it is, and the low cooldown. It was too good for Tomio. He deserves this takeaway. And now Tomio, he's down the chain quite a bit. The only other champion who's actually played in this tournament is Nocturne, and then I believe the Gragas. So we'll see what the pickup is for C9. They could flex Annie or Gragas here if they so choose.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge pivot coming through from Cloud9 as well.
Yeah.
It is worth noting that during the regular season, we were seeing quite a bit of Elise coming out as the next most played for Tomio there, but haven't been seeing it nearly as much recently. But Cloud9 still convinced that the Zeri is the pick to be going for a loss, and hard to argue with the results as most played, one of his most winningest characters as well. It's going to be the Gragas. Now, is this going to be for Diplex or Tomio? We're not sure just quite yet.
Could be for Fake God too. Who knows? Now, I will say, when I see this, I think a good response, Aphelios Thresh. I think Diamond's Thresh has still been good. You can front to back with the Maokai, with Aphelios. I think that's Spawn's best champion in his career. And also, you can play it into the Zeri. We saw Arrow have some success with that yesterday against C9. It was the game 1. They didn't win it, but it was close. So not surprised that's going to be the call here for Dig.
And we finally see an adaptation in the bot lane from Dignitas. They'll swap away from the Spawn Draven, and they'll bring in their own late game guns with Aphelios.
Yeah, just as Matt was talking about, this is a big opportunity here for the Dignitas bottom lane. They were having a lot of success with this last time around when they were playing in upper finals, and now as the Aphelios is here, it gives Dignitas a bit more of a scaling opportunity right there. Attacks against Cloud9 have largely been stifled because Tomio has always been in the right place. And the jacket's back on! The jacket's on!
It's on! He got it. Maybe somebody got word to him. No, but we do see a pretty particular response here in the Rakan for Cloud9.
Now, importantly as well, more changes. Renekton, we got to look at that next phase of pick ban. That's been really big. Fake God was instrumental in C9's win in the last game. Again, Fake God, a player historically, but not to his own device in the top lane. Usually, plays weak side. That time, he was left to his own devices, and he destroyed Hoon, who has been our best laning top laner, and I think the best players coming into today in this tournament. Major that C9 was able to get that win, and for Fake God as well, who really wanted revenge against Hoon, as he felt like that was a big part of the reason they were in the lower bracket to begin with.
Yeah, so many revenge stories, particularly for Cloud9 getting knocked out by Dignitas. But now we're in our second phase, and maybe a little bit of revenge for games past here. As we have the Vigard taken off the board by Cloud9, and we have the Renekton taken away.
I will say they don't really want Renekton as much because you can always put Gragas in that matchup. Fake God can play that, so I do like the ban from Dignitas. On the side of Cloud9, though, I am curious if you maybe hit another champ for Tomio. I know Tomio does like his magic damage junglers and can pilot that Gragas himself, as they have the Gragas triple flex available at the moment.
Ooh, the Dwagon.
Yeah, I mean, C9, they just don't want this game to get too long and too controlled from Dig. They see the Maokai. They play it all the time. They know what the power this champion brings. I guess they're just scared.
Yeah. It is a big moment here for what Diplex likely wants to play. What will they actually go for? I imagine that we will reveal where this Gragas is likely going, or at least we have to cut down on one of the options because it is possible for Diplex to bring it back out. But, I mean, as we start looking at the Dragon and the Viger being taken off the table, it kind of makes me think that we're looking at another potential LeBlanc game, actually.
Really interested to see, as it did kind of make its way into that first game, giving Diplex actually a lot to work with from that mid lane, but didn't work out for them in the end. We do see that Jace fan as the Renekton also, and the Aurelion Soul. Some of those late game insurance policies gone from Dignitas.
Would see Gnar. That is definitely something that Fake God is comfortable blinding. It would be a bit of a takeaway from Hoon. And it does. You need the draft physical damage here because you can't go triple magic damage with the Gragas. So I think Gnar was an okay pick here for the side of Dignitas.
It's very safe.
The question is, I mean, does Hoon want to play something like a Rumble? I don't think it's the best setup for it, but it's something that Hoon has been comfortable playing. Or do we see Hoon get crazy into the Gnar? He has been a great laner. We could see a Kennen as well. If you want to collapse on the Zeri, it has been big for Hoon too. Okay.
And as the Kennen starts to get locked in, it comes through. This is one of the toughest historical counter matchups into the Gnar as well. That's a lot of magic damage coming through. We really need to get some heavy physical damage coming up from Insanity, and it really has been the Tristan most of the time.
Yeah, I think it's Trist here. They have to go physical damage. You cannot have triple magic damage topside. So I think Trist is really the last option here for Insanity. Has to get anything up his sleeve. His champ pool is wide.
Again, though, it gives you that risk and reward, and that we've seen punished already from Cloud9. They opt into the magic damage, though. They go with the Talia and mobility out of the mid lane for Insanity.
That makes the Gragas really freaking good. And also, the Kassadin is so good into all of these mages. Can play around the edges of what Kennen can do. And it's locked in for Diplex. The potential last game of the playoffs here for Challengers League. Going to be having Diplex going back to the same character.
Now, we saw C9 play this in Game 4 yesterday against TLC.
It was good.
The big thing, I mean, you dropped a lot early. TL did a nice job of snowballing with the Ziggs, taking a lot of structures. I think the way you beat Cassinan is taking away his space to farm. But I think what C9 does consistently well, they will make plays where Diplex just gets in the mid game, gets a couple free side waves.
Yeah.
And we saw that finally add up. It was the 4th Dragon fight where Diplex went from level 14 to level 16. Once he got there, the game was over. This does open up side lanes for C9. That's really big, really important, because Cassinan, every side lane is going to be so good for him going into both the Kennen and the Taliyah this game if he gets going.
Yeah, and I'm specifically also looking at the final change up here in jungle priority, as XU will be on the Maokai this time around, Josh.
Yeah, and it's not as though you have the same kind of easy targets, right? The Draven is easy prey for the Maokai. The Zeri is not as easy, right? You're always going to be running the cleanse, so Lost will have an opportunity, but he's also had such good reaction times throughout the course of the series.
Well, we're getting into it now. What is a potential final game in our North American Challengers League Grand Finals? Cloud9 one step away from claiming this championship. We'll see if Dignitas have a response here. Backs against the wall. This is where we prove we deserve this win. They are our 2nd seed, but they were number 1 coming into this one. After having beaten Cloud9 Challengers in a previous matchup in the upper finals, they find themselves in a revenge match of their own.
We know these teams have been scrimming against each other quite a bit. Both of them have been scrimming up against LCS squads as well. These players are hungry to prove that they have what it takes. And we already talked about it. Fake God yesterday was saying one of the major reasons why Cloud9 fell last weekend was the fact that Hoon was absolutely bopping him in a number of lanes. The Gwen pick being Thanos in Game 2 just gives him a free one, but he's been playing so much better.
I mean, this is really important. The fact that, like, Hoon has to win this lane. Like, this game for Dignitas is not good as we get deeper into the game. Like, Insanity must make plays. They have to snowball, because if Cassidy gets to 16, they don't have many ways that can deal with him. And so I think it's so important that we see a good start from Dig. And speaking of good starts, actually, this is not scouted. This is a huge start for Dignitas.
That is actually pretty big. They're going to start on the cheeky nuggies up there, maybe even get a level 2 gank if possible in the mid lane.
That's
but the
massive.
question is how they use this Maokai pick that has not been available to them, and XU is already off to the races.
This has been a fantastic way that some teams have been able to punish Cloud9. When XU had this kind of start up against this team last weekend, it was an easy win coming through for Dignitas, and it doesn't look like Tomio knows.
I will see if he goes for the Krugs. You can always go for the dive top afterwards. You have to be careful. You have to get to the Krugs between the wave to make sure that you are not spotted. But Tomio's going to get the bad news now as he is spotted. Yeah, that's no red buff, no Raptors for you, and he's going to eat a sapling on the way out,
He gets a present, though, K-Cubby. It's a nice little late Christmas present
That's
as
a
XU
tough
throws up
start.
the monkey.
Yeah, the monkey's always there. It's like protecting his hot cocoa, and we instantly see XU shifting his path to the other side of the map. That is going to be interesting. He is moving as though he would go towards the bottom, but he's going to be pivoting towards the top half, and that's going to be asking big questions for Tomio. Is the bottom half of the map still going? Did Tomio go, or did XU go towards the Krugs? Where is he right now?
Good word from Hoon. This is the only play that is available to Tomio. Hoon still has to be a little bit careful.
All right, we had a little bit of issue on our end for just a second, but we'll see the gank pulled off here.
He burned his
Flash
E.
still available for Hoon. He'll get the body slam flash, though. Hoon is just going to go down to first blood.
That's
and that
big.
goes over to Tomio.
That's big. We were saying that he needed to win this lane for Dignitas. They need to find some advantages here before Duplex comes online. That's a massive wave that Fake God can pick up.
That was the only play that Tomio had available to him. Hoon has to respect that. They didn't get the wave, and it was stuck. Now he TP's back. XU has to go hover now in case Tomio stuck around. Not the case, and that's a huge win for Fake God and C9, and a big mistake from Hoon.
That looks like a plan gone awry, right? As XU goes out, it is a situation where Hoon had been pushing up the wave, trying to make sure that they could actually crash it. And it's hard to know exactly where the communication broke down there. Hoon needed to be more aggressive, but could he have been more aggressive as we take a look towards the bottom side or the top side?
I mean, Tomio's back up here. They did zone Fake God off this way, but I think C9 wins this 2v2. Fake God?
Well, that's an early flash from XU there just to make sure he can get out of that preemptive damage coming down from Cloud9. But you can see both teams really hovering around this top side of the map. The biggest thing for me is looking at what comes next, and it's that level 6 mark for both mid laners, but particularly Insanity needing to get off the ground running with the Weaver's Wall.
Wow. That is big. XU using the flash relatively early. That is one of the major tools that Maokai has to get some of these very strong ganks early on in the game. And overall, I mean, it feels as though Dignitas, they're not drafting an early game composition, but they are drafting a composition that needs to play for the early game. And Lost is farming okay. It is going to be a bit of a rougher one than we did see with some of the Draven games. So maybe Spawn can be a big player later on, but it is definitely a tough spot for Dig.
Both junglers just trying to find any advantage they can around the map. I love that Tomio's trying to be a little bit proactive in the pathing, but it will be a Scuttle Crab number 2 going over to XU.
Yeah, you got a Cassin in mid, and there was Prio bot for Dignitas, so I think Tomio respecting that is good, but this is not the start that Dignitas were hoping for. If Gnar gets Trinity Force in this matchup, you can kind of win the 1v1, especially if it's a little bit accelerated. Fake God's a little bit ahead of Hoon. Hoon's still down a flash. It was a good start with... you had XU sneaking away camps, right? Tomio didn't know the fact that it got turned around. That takes away all the momentum that Dignitas had in that early game with that setup, and C9's the comp that with this Cassin, it's still the ticking time bomb.
And we've seen Dignitas have advantages early on in most of the games here already, and it has been through passive advantages, but also XU getting involved. And right now on the Maokai, there's not as many options available to you. I do love that we see the double cull starts for both big carries, at least Hoon and Spawn respectively, but it is them opting into a later game fight where we know Cloud9 feel like they're at their best.
Cloud9, I mean, they win all the front-to-back team fights that we are going to be seeing. We've seen as well in the LCS when Cloud9 are playing around with the Cannon, when they have to play against it, they have been a little bit struggling, but now it's Dignitas, who has not been going for a lot of these flanks on the other characters, and Tomio, yet again, coming here to provide a free.
Oh, finds the big angle there. There's no angle for Hoon to get out. He doesn't have flash. He is going to go down yet again, and Cloud9 have found the weak spot in the armor that is Dignitas as a second straight kill goes on to Hoon.
That's disaster. That is so big. This is supposed to be a really good matchup for the Cannon. He's already getting put behind. The Merc Treads are online early. Hoon not even having the teleport to get back up towards the top side. Faker can do whatever they want with the lane.
This is why we're asking for Tristana, right? It's the triple magic damage top side. It's going to be so easy for C9 to spec with these Merc Treads. And that's much of the efficiency you get against Kennen plus a Maokai. Dignitas get the consolation prize of the Dragon, but if you're C9, you have the Gnar in this spot, you are feeling so good this game because of how self-sufficient your side laners are later. Fake God already set up for success. Diplex, he's getting his farm, he's casting, he's fine. C9, they feel great about where things are at right now.
I do like some of the preemptive move from Dignitas here. They have the Weaver's Wall available for Insanity now, and they need to find something on the map, right? Getting XU involved, getting some of this invade yet again, but it is the cohesion of Dignitas in this moment that's going to be the most important.
Yeah. And this is another spot where we have to go back to the fact that Tomio, the only player here who has not had any LCS experience, is becoming a massive, massive threat. Again, being moved around the map, moving himself, being so willing to go for these big plays. It's been fantastic growth for a player that we were saying throughout the course of this playoffs, if you want to be Cloud9, it's through the jungle.
They are trying to find an in for that for XU and for Dignitas, but Stalwart is ever for Cloud9 here. XU's looking mid lane though. We get a little bit of something. Got red-white now available for spawns. Some fighting maybe in tow, but still pretty much the same kind of style we've gotten. Very respectful gameplay coming out, even with that early advantage for Cloud9. We'll see XU continuing to try to invade.
I still think Rift Herald goes over to the side of Dig, just given that there is a Cassin in the mid lane, but...
A Spawn was ready to fight. Get a little bit of death sentence action from Diamond onto Zeyzal.
Yeah, like you said, Matt, it is definitely a spot where the Rift Herald should be going over to Cassidon. Goes forward.
Diplex gonna go forward now. Insanity doesn't have any cooldowns, and that's yet another flash body slam combo from Tomio that nets dividends for Cloud9. Diplex gets the kill.
What a legacy series from Tomio, man. I know, like, we've been asking, hey, when, can this player grow? What can he grow into? We know that he has the hands, and this is a champion where there were many bans taken away from him in draft. The Maokai was taken away too, and his response with the Gragas, we know he can play this pick, but he's been blowing up the last 3 games here in favor of C9, Joshi. He has been massive in the series.
It's been nuts too. You listen to a ton of top laners in particular talk about it. Revenge will say it. Concept has been saying it too. When we've talked to them, just saying, yeah, Tomio is a sick solo queue player. You give him a lead, and he will be so good at pushing it even further.
And this is the Tomio that was promised, it feels like. We've brought that conversation up so many times in the past. The prince of our league feels like he's finally arrived in the moment for Cloud9, and what a better way it would be, right? We've seen growth over this guy from his time on EG through the trials and tribulations that was that last split or last year. year at least on that organization, coming into Cloud9 with a lot of those veteran pieces to help hone the weapon that Tomio has become.
We know that like he had his moments, especially on the carries, and again, Gragas is definitely a champion that Tomio has been comfortable with in his career, even if he hasn't played it a ton this split. And to be able to pilot this in a game where you're one game away from holding, I guess, hoisting the amulets around your neck, Tomio's just been so big, and it's really a surprise again for C9. It's like, hey, lost Hazel, best bot lane of the league. Diplex, he's been massive when he's coming to the Challengers. But to have this series be a lot of fake god neutralizing Hoon, and then what we've seen from Tomio, that's the kind of growth that you want to see out of a team where people don't really expect growth out of these players given what we've seen before. We're still seeing that in finals from these guys, and it might just get them that trophy.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that the last time that we saw Dignitas playing up against Cloud9, so much of their success was based off the fact that Dignitas were just out-laning Cloud9 across the board. Insanity was blapping Diplex for a lot of their laning phases. Spawn and Diamond had consistent leads, and of course, Hoon absolutely being a terror up in the top lane. But finally, it feels as though Cloud9 have returned to that form of having a really strong lane. Lost and Zazel, after the first game, have never really been put too far behind. And now Dignitas, again, Insanity has not had Diplex's number, and this Caston is gotten freely to level 8 already.
And we already see the Night Harvester completed for Tomio. An early item spike there, but giving more onus to Tomio out on the map to get something going. And you're really just trying to bridge time for Diplex. He is still that nightmare clock hitting midnight here once he hits that level 16 mark, and it's about Dignitas trying to find as much as they can until that point.
I mean, Rift Herald's been delayed here because Dig, they have to stack up the dragons. If you're going to beat this Cassinan, you have to get Soul. And that is a must. You can see, I love what C9's doing. Insanity is down Flash. Diamond's here on the hover.
Do it, Diamond.
He's going to spot out that ward. Nice hover from Diamond and XU as they were able to get some info, protect Insanity. But we're 25 seconds away from this dragon. I'm telling you, if this dragon goes over the side of C9, that is really the fat lady at least stepping out of the stage. I really feel like this game
done and dusted, because if you say that, I feel like Dignitas just somehow win this game. You gotta be careful with that one.
I love a game 5.
You have power.
I want the silver scrapes, man. I need to hear that sweet, sweet music in my ears.
Cloud9 doesn't. They just want to win. They want to go home. They want to get the K-Barbecue early as Dignitas. They're setting up here faster.
The medallions would be looking real good on that Cloud9 roster, but now it is back to brass tacks here. Dignitas trying to find a little bit of hover on bot side of the map for XU, but it is responded by Tomio. They actually take the engage. Nature's Grasp on the other side, but Diamond's already gone! The Nature's Grasp dip is not there for Dignitas, though you do got a spawn dip going right now, as he's able to get some decent damage back onto Cloud9. This is still a strong presence from the bot side of the map.
We were saying that Dignitas need to get this dragon, but who's the one actually pulling it? It's Cloud9. Even with this cast, and Insanity has no mana to interrupt with any of this play, and you see the Diplex is like not taking any damage. Cloud9 feel like they have overcome this last obstacle.
Oh my god, Diplex is going for it onto Insanity. He's got the Rift Walk available. He's going for it! Solo bolo to Diplex!
Actually, I'm calling it time of death. 12:30 in the game. Diplex getting a solo kill in this matchup. There is nothing left to prevent Cloud9 from actually fighting their way to this championship.
We've seen Dignitas play out these early game comps all year. They're okay with dropping games, but this one, I think it's been too much. We're going to look at this again. Zazel, the flash charm to guarantee there's no response from Diamond, who gets one shot before he hits the ground. Great chain of CC from Tomio, who again was there to match out on the play. And then mid, I mean, this Cassinan, so excited already. And the side lane's just going to be a terror. There's absolutely nothing that Dignitas can do. Get out on the map in the side lanes. Cassinan are going to destroy both sides where they're at right now.
And this is disappointing for Insanity, who puts a lot of pressure on himself for these one-on-one matchups. We heard his conversation when he did not do well against MNS. We heard a little bit of the conversation when he did finally do well against Diplex, but this moment right here, Diplex is stepping up at the right time for Cloud9. Speaking of stepping up, we got a little action in the bot lane, not going to lead to much.
And I mean, really the only saving grace for Dignitas. I know talking with Diamond, coming into the second half of this split, when Spawn swapped in, he's like, hey, I've been landing with Tomo for 3 years. Me and Spawn have figured out power now on the map. They
hop away, though, gets lost out of there. Zazel has been left out to dry, though, and Spawn picks up the first kill for Dignitas.
Spawn's on his best champion. It's a tall order, but if anyone's going to do it, if anyone's going to get Dignitas this game 5, it's got to be Spawn in this one.
Yeah,
I think it's a daunting task. I think it's nigh impossible for the side of Dignitas, but Spawn, he is ahead, he is fed, and if you're a Dignitas fan, your hopes lie on Spawn's shoulders?
It's got to be the young rookie coming. He's not even a rookie anymore, but he came back down from LCS. This was the roster move that they chose to go for. Tomo moving up to try and help some of Dignitas' issues in the LCS. Spawn does come down. He's got a third. He's got a kill.
First tower, too.
Yeah, he's got the Cole completed, right? Like, this is about as much money as Spawn will have. But being up only 300 gold moving into the 15-minute mark, it is crazy how well Cloud9 have actually done. Hoon has clawed back at least some of this, yes, but this is a matchup where he's supposed to be up a wave and a half at least.
Yeah.
And we're finding those deficits really mounting up against Dignitas. That saving grace still Spawn. You said if there's a moment for him to do it, it is on this pick. It is in this moment.
And the issue moving into the mid game now, I mean, you have Cassinan at level 11. How the hell can Talia deal with that? Not to mention that your other two solo
Timer's ticking, man.
are magic damage as well. And then Gnar into Kennen, once you get that Trinity Force, especially if it's ahead of the curve, you feel really good as Gnar. You can actually take that 1v1 in the side. So C9 just gets to stretch the map.
Oh my god, they're gonna fight him again!
Oh,
That's an 0-3 moment for Hoon, and Hoon in time has come up. There is no longer any big buff in the top side. Dignitas keep taking L's.
there are not a lot of feelings in the game worse than just being crowd controlled to death, but it does feel worse when you're ping-ponged around like that. Spawn not able to find anything here either. It feels as though Dignitas, this is where you start getting desperate. This is where you start going for some wild plays on the off chance that it goes well.
And that's where I'm looking at Diamond particularly. Find big destinates. He has been the decisive member for the team in a lot of these big moments, especially in game number 1 on the Thresh. But we've got to see those moments, those right pickouts when the time is right.
It might be even on the scoreboard, but this game's like the scoreboard does not tell the story of this game, where things are going at all. The C9 are so far ahead of the curve for where they're supposed to be right now. Having a gold lead with this draft at this point of the game, somewhat, I would say it would be super illegal if it wasn't triple damage.
Oh my god, not again! No! He can't do this. He cannot get away with this one. The Slicing Maelstrom comes out from Hoon. He does make it out alive this time.
If he gets hit by that rock, he might actually die, right? That's how far ahead Fake God has actually found themselves. And
I thought Sky's Descent was in last game. I didn't know that we had one in the top lane for this one.
I mean, you gotta get this. You gotta get this turret.
The dinosaur didn't go extinct, you know. It was still got him back here with Fake God is playing Hoon's best champ into him damn well. And I mean, C9 at this point, this team, again, like we saw both of these rosters, no surprise that either of these teams were in finals, like looking at the start of the year. But what these teams have managed to do, swapping players mid-split, and now what C9's managed to do in finals, again, it's been the players that, I don't want to say weaknesses for C9, but not like the big stars, the big focus have been stepping up so much in Tomio and Fake God in this best of 5. It's got to feel so good for them to be what I feel is the really big difference in this series, really the play of these two guys.
Yeah. I also want to give a shout out to Diplex as well, right? It was a spot where when they first played Insanity last time around, it definitely went in Insanity's favor. Diplex has been fighting back, neutralized a lot of that laning phase, and Diplex later on in the games, we've seen what they can do to teams like Team Liquid, where they just find all of these massive, massive flanks. Now on one of the best flanking champions as well. It just feels as though all cylinders have been firing for Cloud9.
And I've loved that Diplex has been a major receiver of resources for Cloud9 since he stepped in, right? He came into a new region, he came into a new starting role, then moved down to Challengers, and it has been just immediately hitting the ground running for this guy. And it feels like Cloud9 thrive off of that, and it lets Tomio be enabled. It lets Fake God have a little bit of strength from top side, and now Dignitas need to put up a defense against this dragon.
I mean, Dig needs this. If this goes, that's a theme. The question is, will C9 even fight this? Like, I really don't think they have to. They have Cassian at level 13, but
they might not have to, but they want to.
Yeah, at the moment, Diplex, he is spotted on the flank thanks to the saplings from Axu and this Maokai. As Insanity's in the mark. Not the flank TP you're looking for. Fake God has that bar at literally 99.
Diplex on the side. He does have the Rift Walk. We'll see Fake God coming in with the Mega Gnar. Who needs to find a big flank? He needs to find something in. He can't just walk straight up and down, but it looks like it's going to be Weaver's Wall across the back. The cast came out to try to separate the rest of Dignitas. Xu's going to have to make a Miracle Smite here. The Dragon, it goes to Dignitas, but they got to be careful afterwards. You got the re-engage there on Xu, but the Slicing Maelstrom from Hoon, it does big work. There's a Moonlight Vigil to follow it up. Tomio getting chakram down, and Spawn has has risen to the occasion.
It's not bad for Dignitas. A 1-for-1 and Dragon is all you can ask for in that scenario, as the counter engage from Hoon got him something at spawn edge. So many Chakrams stacked up. He actually ripped through the front line of C9, and Dignitas, they have a bit of hope in this game now with Soul on the horizon.
But watch how Diamond and Hoon actually play this one. This is such a tough position for their team to actually do anything, but Diamond hooks Fake God while he's still mini before he transforms, does so much damage. If Fake God gets a big ultimate, can't go forward in these positions, it drastically changes the fight. But after that, I mean, we said all you can ask for is a 1-for-1 as Hoon re-engages the fight. It's not the flank we were expecting, but catching 3 relatively squishy members here, preventing them from getting back into the fight, buys his team so much time.
And I gotta say, it has been a really tough early game for Hoon. Not where he wants to be, but there is no exhaust on the side of C9. That is important for Kennen, so these ults are always going to hit. And Hoon hitting that one again, 1-for-1 in Dragon. That is like the top 10% dream scenario you can think of for Dignitas, given where the game state was at that Dragon. And again, C9, for them, they can return to the sides, return to farming. And the goal is to get Ditbucks to 16 by the time the next Dragon spawns.
Yeah, he's 13 right now, but you can see how
He's
far
close to
forward he
14.
can actually play.
Yeah.
Close to 14. He's already got 2 items. This is a super tanky cast in at this point. Feels as though Dignitas, it doesn't feel as though their answer was here, and Tomio has been giving them so many headaches.
And I really appreciate the gumption, I guess, from Dignitas. They still got to look at Spawn. Yeah, on the range. You really got to look at Spawn for the rest of this game and how they play around Spawn specifically. But I love that Hoon was able to find a little bit of game. Even going 0-3 in the top side, the Kennen is a force to be reckoned with.
This is still the tough part of the game, though, for Dignitas when those objectives are down. They almost have to, like, force the Baron to try and pull the Kennen to the side lane. So, yeah, here we go.
It has to come before that 16 level mark for Diplex. There is a half health Baron now as a TP comes in. Diplex going to join the fight here. Dignitas pull off.
I mean, that gets the teleport, but what else are you going to do with
They're
that?
just gonna
Diplex
start it up
already level
themselves.
14, and Cloud9 are like,
picked it
oh
up
yeah,
half
it's a good
health.
idea. We've seen AoE do this. Oh, you start the Baron. Oh, that is our Baron. Diplex on a major
He
flank.
will find the flank on Insanity. Insanity, he gets caught trying to use the Weaver's Wall. Tomio getting so low, but Diplex, he might have them in their sight. And lost with the lightning crash. And here comes Zazel. The slicing maelstrom pushed to the wayside as Cloud9 take a huge fight against Dignitas Challengers.
Every member of Cloud9 stepping up in this potential final game. Blinky red health bars across the board. It's only Diamond around to do anything.
Diamond, can you save
Not like this.
Throw out the Pengu dab, but it's an ace for Cloud9.
Everyone coming through. Diplex's flank was nuts.
It wasn't just that, it was the over-the-top damage from Tomio on the Gragas. He took down both carries, allowed the space for Diplex to actually get in there and finish the job. As Lost, I mean, I haven't seen a Zeri ultimate pop 2 squishies in a long time. It was all the damage over the top that added up in the end, and C9, that's the first step to getting those amulets around their neck. Take another look.
Wow.
He denies a lot of the repositioning as well, but it was literally just off the back of this flank.
Yeah, he's completely invisible this entire time, and once he gets on top of Insanity,
there.
yeah, they know, but it doesn't matter. He's so fast.
I mean, they think he's there, but...
And then they see him. Oh, man.
Look at Tomio. Look at all the damage he manages to get. That, it does go wide, but Tomio, he ends up finding more on the back half. The Zeri W as well. Yep, there's
That
more
was
damage
so
coming
big.
out. So big as Lost and Diplex just clean
And it doesn't end.
everything up here. And C9, they're going to pick up all the turrets. It's going to be like an 8-9k gold lead for that Dragon. They're going to prevent Soul. This is it for C9, man. This game. Ooh.
It's just not being able to keep track of the damage, it feels like. They are just getting blasted from the sides, and it's just not a response available for Dignitas. And they got to regroup, refine something, because they find themselves in a 7,000 gold deficit.
The flank coming through from Hoon, right? It needed to be there coming forward, but I mean, he just doesn't have the damage at this point. He's not even on 2 items. Fake God kept him down. Tomio kept him down further.
And these were the consequences of that early game that we were talking about just coming to fruition, right? The fact that Cassidy gets that angle, he's so far accelerated into this game. Kennen doesn't have the damage to find those one-shots, and also, I mean, Tomio, I cannot say enough good things about Tomio in this series. It really feels like him and that Malachi pick have been the MVP of this series, which was not what I was expecting if it were to be a C9 win, but Tomio stepping up has been so big for this team.
And it's against XU, one of the known names in our developmental system, right? A guy who has been around, who has found those highs, right? Trying to find those highs. And it is Tomio stepping up in the occasion.
A guy who was on Cloud9 Amateur, like going back, right? He's going up against his old org in a sense as well. So, I mean, for Tomio to step up, it's finals. Couldn't be at a better time. He's been massive.
Well, let's remember where Tomio was last year. He was on Evil Genius's Academy. That team was not looking hot at all. There was a lot of questions about the players there, but all of their players, having moved on from their organization, have looked good. And Tomio, going from one of our teams that exited early in Proving Grounds to potentially being our champion, massive redemption for this guy.
I mean, even going back, Tomio, he took 5th, 6th in the Proving Grounds in 2021 spring with Surdy, and then, marksman that was known as Shiro went on to be Danny. You know, wasn't too bad of that amateur squad.
Not too shabby.
We had high hopes for Tomio, and to see him really reach that mantle in this series, what a great moment from him, as well as Fake God. I mean, his return has been so nice this split to see.
They're going to try to catch out Fake God. He does not have Meganar. There'd be a little catch out. Diamond's trying to get around the corner here. Damage not enough. Insanity just doesn't have the items. He can't do
Spawn
the damage.
does.
But Spawn has the guns. And he's able to take down Fake God here. Shutdown goes over. Dragon, though, will go to Cloud9. But Dignitas, they find a little bit of scraps back onto the map.
But it scraps as the Mountain Dragon goes over, denying the Mountain Soul here to Dignitas. And Diplex, he's hit level
Ding,
16.
ding,
Ding, ding, ding. Diplex coming through, ready to blow up everybody. Already on 3 items, has the Zonias. Nobody is ever killing this guy the rest of the game. Maybe Spawn if he gets a free hit 4 or 5 seconds, but
Yeah, I don't know, man. Cassidy is pretty slippery. We saw it be damn good yesterday as Diplex. He cleaned up Team Liquid with it. Now he's trying to clean up the rest of the tournament with it. And Dignitas, as, again, I mean, C9 can't say enough good things about how they've adapted throughout this series. That curveball that Dignitas threw them, they responded well.
That's the biggest thing, is the curveball that was thrown Cloud9's way. They came into this tournament #1 seed. They were terrifying. They were the Grim Reapers. As we had said earlier, they lost in those upper finals to Dignitas in disheartening fashion. They were looking forward to that rematch. They burst through TLC, and here they are, 1 step away from claiming that championship.
Nature's Grasp gets nothing. I mean, think about how Tomio, how effective he's been with his ultimate. Dignitas not able to recreate that, and Diplex is on the inhibitor.
It's half damage on that inhib, as I don't think he'll be able to commit for the full thing. Dignitas definitely want to respond here, and this has been the bread and butter so far of this game, particularly for Dignitas, is try to bear the brunt of the force of Cloud9 and find picks on the sides.
And what a reversal from the last time these two teams actually played against each other, right? This was Dignitas. It felt just absolutely playing to their best, but Cloud9 making it look like a cloudy day last week, but they are coming roaring back as they finally get the inhib.
And this was the team, everyone behind the scenes was saying, this is the favorite. This is the strongest team that we have in Challengers. They are consistently scrimming LCS teams. I had teams telling me that they had less than a 10% win rate against C9 in scrims, and they were in the top half of our standings too. So to see C9 really reach that mantle on stage to wrap up this split again, justice for all these players, especially, I mean, it's Challengers League, right? Yeah. Everyone has the right to compete at the highest level they can. I think for a lot of the C9 players, you know, lost, Fake God, things in LCS didn't go their way. Even Diplex, who replaced by M&S, we felt like was more for M&S's performance, not Diplex's. To have this redemption arc for everyone, that's got to mean a lot coming in, and especially just putting the cherry on top, man. They got an easy thing. They can walk this in. No one can touch Diplex in that side lane.
And again, speaking of kind of redemption arcs, it is since spring 2021 since Cloud9 has found any success in terms of the developmental scene. And so this, a step up in its own right, bringing this roster together, even having some of those changes and making it all unfold. When we talk to Zeyzal a lot through this season, it's about trying to keep their heads on and focus on their goal, right? LCS, making it to that next level yet again for a lot of these guys. But he has been playing with what he would say is the most aggressive ADC he's ever played with, and that beautifully works for Cloud9's approach because they have such strong carries from the bot side.
We'll see what more they can do. It has been a fascinating journey for all these players. They're trying to catch Diplex, but
they can't do that twice in a row.
At the same time, Hoon on the bottom side is just slowly blending out. Fake God has been hole breaking for a while. And again, right, one of the interesting things that we look at with all these more veteran players, right, is who is actually going to be potentially having an opportunity to move up. Do they have more growth to show us? Can they find their way back up? And it feels like Cloud9, I mean, they've already beaten all the competition down in the Challengers League. What's next for them?
See the attempted catch out again from Diamond onto Diplex, but he's just too quick. He has so much mobility, and Cloud9 are using some of this pressure that Diplex is putting on the map to force Dignitas' hand.
It's too easy. They can just catch the mid-wave high and then continue to return to the Baron. Axie's doing his best around saplings, but Diplex can walk forward, take him out easily on his own, get away with the Rift Walk. C9, they can start this Baron whenever they want. I think C9, paying respect to this, is good. They do not want Dignitas to get Soul and open up that Elder Dragon. That's the only way Dignitas can get back in this game. So I think them not touching Baron here is smart. Just make sure you secure that Dragon 100%.
It is true, and they need to focus on Spawn specifically, who has hit that third item spike, but the wraparound from Cloud9. Zazel's going to pop the quickness. He goes straight onto XU. You get the wraparound from Cloud9. Here comes Diplex as well, and already gone is Diamond, the pillar of Dignitas. And this is a 5v4 that Cloud9 are backing away towards the Baron from.
With no real contest coming through. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's 25 seconds. That's a DPS check from Cloud9. They're going to pass that every time.
I mean, they get the Baron. I do think the Soul goes to Dignitas. I really don't think it matters. I think this game's still over. Mountain Soul
Diplex. He wants another solo. He's going on Insanity. Insanity early flashes. And the end might be nigh, but Insanity able to dodge out. He's getting tankier as time goes on. The Baron goes over to Cloud9.
And because Diplex put so much pressure onto the base, Spawn at the reset, they can't blow up this Dragon. TPs were coming in, so Dignitas, they don't even want to flip there. They just want to make sure that, I mean, they're going to bleed out this game. I think that might have been worth the flip, honestly. If you at least force them on the map, that might be your best chance to at least do something. Because again, I think this game's far over. Dignitas, though, they do not choose to go for that play. They wait to see if C9 make any sort of disastrous mistake, and it will just be C9 still walking this game in.
And it has been Cloud9 again. We got to go back to the very beginning of this game. The invade from Dignitas that earned them a win against this exact team last week turned on its head. Tomio's pathing, finding a kill towards the top side of the map, getting Fake out ahead in the matchup, and then returning, continuing to make sure that Hoon never gets off the ground. Still not on his third item.
And it's been interesting to watch the draft kind of unfold. Maokai for Tomio was such a crucial pick. XU on it hasn't had that same impact, it felt like. But maybe the impact being felt here. Diplex, there's 5 members coming at you. Let's see if you can get out of this one. There ain't no escape. He's going to go golden, buy a little bit of time. The slicing maelstrom used just to make sure. And he goes down, shut down to Hoon.
But at what cost? That's the mid lane turret.
They're trying to defend. They got to get back. There's a TP coming down to defend the base, but they have lost their inhib topside. They've lost their inhib mid lane, and now they're looking at inhib towers here.
The Nexus turret, one of them already falls. Dignitas trying to do something, but they committed so many ultimates just to get that one pick onto Diplex. At least their top lane inhibitor respawns, but that's just a small consolation prize. And Hoon, okay, doesn't get caught out at all, but again, that's how much Cloud9 is exacting from Dignitas just to get a single pick. And it's going to get worse. He's almost at the Rabadons.
Yeah, he's going to be real close to that one, as that is going to be yet another huge spike. You're looking at those third items now. 4th item completed for Spawn, that Lord Dom's going to be huge, and he is the saving grace right now for the team. They can have some setup at the team fight. They can start finding picks, but again, a 10,000 gold deficit, the amount of control that Cloud9 have gotten, it's so hard to dig yourself out of.
I'm not huffing the Copium, man, or the Hopium. I still think this game's done. They're just walking it in.
It's been a while.
You see what happened with Diplex there in that bomb? It needed all 5. They still had to hit skill shots to take down the Cassidon. There was an angle for him to outplay it, but again, I think for C9, maybe at least it delayed it for like another Baron. I mean, maybe we could just see a death cap now on Cassidon. We could just have more fun to end the game here at C9, you know? Can't end until you get full build. One of those.
you need that for sure. Absolutely.
I'm
sure that's what Diplex is saying.
There's a death cap.
That is the death cap completed. What a big spike for Cloud9. And they'll be bringing that to bear here with a last gas defense from Dignitas.
I mean, like, the one chance the Dig has is that they int into Spawn and they hit like a big cannon ult where Spawn just gets to stack up a bunch of chakrams, just DPS to a stupid amount. The odds of that happening, pretty low. So little. I mean, you only have 1 tower to play around now, too. So C9's strong enough where that doesn't even really matter that much.
Yeah.
So again, still probably a wrap game. C9, I mean,
I know what it is.
Yeah.
They got to wait for the courier. They got to make the game really over so that the courier can take their amulets to them.
So just so everybody knows, we do have a runner with our medallions to get through the winning team here. We'll see if they can make it in time for Cloud9 to finish this one out. But it is Dignitas with one last gasp, one last breath in this first NACL Challengers League Spring Split Playoffs. Can they make the miracles happen now? They're going to need something.
Gonna need something. It's gonna be crazy. I mean, Cloud9, they just scale and scale and scale and scale. It's not as though there's an opportunity for Dig later on. They got to make something crazy. They got to make it happen soon, but they can't afford to leave their base at any point. Diplex and Fake God end the game by themselves if you try and engage on the bottom half.
See Cloud9 actually moving in through mid lane, trying to get this last inhib tower. Spawn's doing a good job of defending, though. Nice zone control. They actually won't be able to break this down. The minion waves aren't able to crash there, and it looks like we're setting up for another objective fight here. And one that will be a decider, it feels like, if Dignitas can get back into something.
I don't know, man. I know it's finals.
Plays to a fault.
Yeah, I know it's finals. I know, it's game 4. C9 wants to make sure this is clean, but I think we queue up the Resident Sleepers and like the Jeopardy music here. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting. They have one more turret to get through. They could have lost. Why is lost here when his team is on reset?
Yeah, he's fine.
There,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, this is the thing, right? The longer this game goes, the more copium Dignitas supporters are going to be starting to huff, right? Because this is what Team Liquid did to Cloud9, right? It was a crazy long game.
All right.
Team Liquid found some crazy fights.
But in the end, it didn't even matter. It did a little bit.
Did a little bit. Didn't matter that much.
Yeah, it didn't matter that much. And Cloud9 trying to put the finishing touches on this game.
All right.
You've seen the constant pressure up into the base of Dignitas.
So third Baron, I guess, is
that's
it's
a charm.
It's a second breakfast scenario that we have here.
Yeah.
As I think before that C9, they want to make sure they eat up this Mountain Drake too again. Just deny even that Elder from spawning. I think that's big. Not to mention the Soul. I mean, obviously that would help Dig. I don't think it matters that much at this point, but C9, they got one more tower to go through. I just want to make sure things are safe. They got stopwatches.
Yeah.
Stopwatches for each of our team, or I should say each side here, as it was worth noting Spawn has one.
While we wait for Cloud9 to go for a fight, who's been your MVP this series?
Tomio.
Tomio?
It really has been Tomio.
Absolutely. I think Tomio has had such a level up. And it's adding the layers to it, right? It's not only that we saw a rough game number 1, but then we see a game 2 where he bounced back, just changing the style of play on the Maokai. Then going into game 3, then game 4, they are forcing Dignitas to take that pick away because they don't want to waste a ban on it. And it has been incredible to watch Tomio kind of grow just alone into the series, let alone a lot of the strength that we've seen him grow to the later half of the split.
Yeah, I definitely think that for Cloud9, if you look at the rest of the split, it's usually has been Lost or Zeyzal as some of the top players that we've been looking
Thunder
at.
and Lightning.
But today, Tomio has been looking so strong. And now, again, Baron 3, that might be all that it takes as they move on over, not taking any risks at all. And Hoon, I mean, he's been a great laner, been a great side laner. Needs to try and find a way to get some flanking in order to get to that next level.
It is Death Cap on Kennen.
It is.
There is no exhaust. Spawn is 4 items. Yep. Those are the hopes. I'm just laying out the hopes. I'm laying them out again. I'm reminding fans, we're talking about our MVP, But no, that's actually the sound you made is what the fat lady's doing right now. She's
prepping up those vocal cords.
It's getting close.
I'm told that vegetable oil is really good to loosen up the vocal cords.
Take a spoonful of that straight to the jugular.
Yeah.
You're not getting any spoonfuls of sugar later. This rate, Josh.
No, you just see the
Look at that technique.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta ask questions.
Round 2.
And one of the questions is, can they catch out Diplex? No. And the answer is a quick no.
No. Okay, but the mid inhib, they have the Barons. This inhibitor turret, I've actually been impressed how long it stayed alive, and the Nature's Grasp goes out. And they're gone.
Yep, they just walk away from those tangling roots. Find much there. There's another inhib on the table here, maybe for Cloud9. Diplex pushing in that side lane here. Insanity just has no real answer to this 1v1. They need more members, but as you move members down there, Cloud9 collapse.
And now as another inhibitor goes down, top lane 1 will be respawning soon, but as the bottom lane inhibitor finally falls, another point of attack finally opening here for Cloud9 as they go.
Try to go Diamond, the desperate attempt. He doesn't have the damage though. Tomio and Fake God are onto the Nexus towers, and here comes the redemption, but the cast from Tomio and Cloud9 are putting the final touches on Dignitas Challengers. A triple kill for Lost, and we had 16 Challenger teams come into the beginning of this split, and as the dust settles, 1 is left standing. Behold your champions for the first ever time of NACL, Cloud9 Challengers.
Oh my god, you get to see the Fortnite dances coming out of Diplex, showcasing the Zuber energy coming through, and they take it. And what a dominant display.
It gotta feel good for Diplex, again, this season for him. He wanted to be that LCS mid laner. He played all right. M&S was just the better player. C9 felt like going forward, the best thing you can do is to go into the Challengers League, play at your best, and hold the trophy. Diplex did just that, and you can see how happy the C9 guys are. Feels like the redemption arc, it's been justified for all of them.
Yeah. And Diplex in particular, right? He popped off yesterday. We saw him immediately after their series versus Team Liquid. Comes back, another pop-off, hits the dance. This is the kind of thing I would love to see more of across teams, as you just get people to pop off. But I'm really curious. Tomio, he's jumping up and down. They're having a good time.
I want to go on a little bit of a soapbox for Tomio, man. He has found such a wonderful home, not ever finding success, even though he's been so lauded in the past for how strong of a jungler he is. He finally finds that success here.
I know for Tomio, too, like the other junglers in C9, I mean, it's Blabber and Armeo. He's friends with them as well. And for Tomio, like, before he was promoted to Evil Geniuses Academy, we had him as, like, one of our top prospects moving up in amateur. It really took a little bit for Tomio to really hit that mantle in competitive play, but this was the team where he was set up for success. He had Zeyzal as that support, as that world semifinalist who's known for the big brain that, you know, is so good in comms. And Tomio, he jungled so well today on, I mean, the Maokai and then the Gragas in that last game to beat the Maokai himself. Him stepping up, it really does feel like justice for Tomio as well, he looks damn happy there with C9.
Tomio, that was promised. I'm gonna cry.
Finally figured it out. It was my dad's calling me right at the time. But it is definitely a spot right here. Cloud9 have been looking so good across the entire season. Now they finally find it, and I think the only thing that we're really waiting for is we know that somebody was on their way with their amulets.
With the medallions, and I see one
there
there. But the biggest thing is it has been the journey. The goal never left the sight of all 5 of these players. You talked to them all throughout the split. It was all about this end goal, making it to this moment right here, and rightfully so. They will be getting their medallions as the prize piece of winning NACL first split ever. We'll see those given out here one by one.
I know. We finally have medallions that are not in favor of TL. I think it's go to a new home this time around.
For the first time since spring 2021 has Cloud9 found success.
I mean, that was where they made finals, this time winning finals. And again, this was a roster. I mean, a lot of these players have competed at a high level before. We had high expectations for this roster. It's one thing to have them, but another one to hit them. And C9, I think they hit him in stride today, especially with how well Tomio and Fakeout especially just stepped up compared to the performances we saw from them throughout the split. I think they were big difference makers. Fakeout getting revenge against Toon, and Tomio, he was so big in the jungle. It just made the map so well, so good for C9, whether it was breaking what Dignitas wanted to do with those poke and pick compositions, or in that last game, setting up Fakeout for all the success he could have needed.
And we set up Hoon so much in the beginning of this. The best player throughout our playoffs, the best laner in the top lane, and Fakeout brings him to task. The way that he did in the last 2 games, incredible stuff. Now, that is it from us here on the caster desk. It has been an absolute pleasure, gentlemen, as we're going to kick it over to our analyst desk and see how they want to finish out the day.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. I'm here with our LCS Challengers League spring champion in Tomio. Tomio, I like that necklace. You want to show it off for us a little bit? Maybe hold it up to the camera. It looks good on you.
Yeah, it's a bit big, but it feels good. You know what I mean?
That is a split's worth of hard work right there is what that represents. So congratulations on picking that up. Quick first thoughts after the series. How's it settling in? Have you realized that you won yet, or do you think that's going to come later?
Yeah, I realized. Wait, shh. I can't hear. Okay, was it? Yeah, I realized.
It felt like we could
later. What's up?
We could notice live on camera, I think, when exactly you realized is when you started jumping up and down, embracing your team.
Oh, that's
walk me through some of the emotions being felt in the room right after the win.
I mean, it feels really good for sure to win it all at the end, and after do like the struggles and learning and inting and everything, it's good to win the finals, I guess.
You also got the team behind you there giving you the real life support right now. As we got okay, maybe not all support. You got some ears behind you as well. Walk me through what happened after game 1, though, because the series didn't start off exactly in Cloud9's favor. Dignitas did pick up a win. What was the mentality like for the team to try and bounce back in the series?
Game 1, we're just chilling, and then at the 3rd Drake, we got like hooked one by one, and I think during that time it was a good fighting time for us and a winning spot because they didn't actually snowball. And then heading into next game, we were like, guys, it's fine. They didn't really snowball that hard as a least, and we neutralized well. We should be fine. We just don't die like that again, or do some get picked or something by Thresh.
Clean play from that point forward. And honestly, pretty clean play throughout the entire split. I want to take the opportunity for you to reflect on the split. We saw the amulet that we're in right now is the manifestation of a hard split of full of work for you and the team. Walk me through some of the highs and lows that you experienced and some things that you're proud of from Spring Split so far.
I guess I'll start off the lows. As a player, I had a lot to work on, and I think I still do. And coming into practice, I guess I would be like, I think the main theme of problems of like just my gameplay alone. There were fundamentals and stuff, and
so how did you see yourself developing those throughout the split then?
My teammates and my coach did an insane job at helping me learn, I'd say, and improve every day. And
improvement, I think, is a solid place to start there, considering especially how your 2022 went. Because if we're being honest, 2022, when you're on Evil Geniuses, not ending how you expected based on the fact that you're top 6 at Proving Ground in 2021. So I know one rough year does not define a career, but oftentimes the audience will kind of use that against players in a way. So I want to give you the opportunity now. If you had a chance to talk to yourself from 2021 after that Proving Grounds run, knowing what was coming ahead of you, what advice would you give to the younger version of yourself to stick with it, because eventually you will become a PG champion, or rather now NACL champion?
I'd say never give up. Keep playing. Do your best to keep improving. Be happy. Smile. And yeah, I don't know what else. Right now,
that's a good list.
Think of my head.
That's a solid list. I like that one, especially at the end. Smile, be happy with where you're at, because of course you were able to get to the very top of the developmental league. So now I gotta ask, I'm sure the Twitch chat, if MNS is watching, is probably spamming Tomio cute in chat right now. What's next for Tomio going forward in the future? What do you see for yourself?
Me?
For you, yes.
Oh, the Twitch chat? Or are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
Oh,
Twitch
okay,
chat's
sorry.
spamming for you.
Hope in near future. I still got a lot to work on as a player. I become strong LCS jungler. And
Okay.
I hope my teammates, I believe they deserve to get back into the LCS. And I would love to see them play there. I really love them, and they're my boys. And I love my coach too.
Well, we'll be rooting for all of you on that path. As the only player in this finals who has not played an LCS, very impressive, the performance that you put on there, Tomio. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. We know that we also wanted to get some of the other players from the team to come on. So if you wouldn't mind passing the microphone and headset.
Okay. I'll get to
Yeah. I think Zazel will be up next here to chat, as we also have Fake doing something in the background right now. Love how humble Tomio is, of course, though. Always great to chat with him. Zazel, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I mean, couldn't really ask for much more. We just won our finals, so good.
Yeah, I heard that you did pretty well in that finals match. You got the amulet on right now, and I want to talk, because you're kind of returning now to this level of competitive play after taking a bit of a hiatus. So for anybody out there who doesn't know the story of the Zazel journey, going from playing LCS, then, moving to even the stint in amateur, going to coaching, now back into competing, what's keeping the drive going? And what was that, journey like for you?
I'd say some of the drive is just, even when I was just more casually watching, it's like I see people playing, I'm like, oh, that's not that hard, and I'm playing solo queue casually, just not having trouble against these players, and slowly I just realized I was streaming for like 6 months, 3 accounts, like farming LP from pro sports, doesn't matter who. It was really easy. So I was just like, you might want to look to come back. And middle of the split, Jack messaged me about coaching, so I ended up doing that one split as a coach, but I was also like low-key a sub, but I obviously would have not played unless emergency, but I was the sub for Worlds and playoffs as well as positional coaching.
Wow, a long journey to get back to this point. So I asked Toby, I want to ask you now, what's the future like for Zeyzal? Are we going to expect you back in the LCS sometime soon? Are you not impressed with the competition up there?
That's the hope. I mean, it's all to make it to the LCS, right? So my main goal going into this split was I only play one split here, and I end up back in the LCS. As sad as it'll be to potentially leave some of my boys, or maybe I won't, who knows, we might end up elsewhere, but it's going to be a very bittersweet moment, even if I make LCS and have to leave this team. So but that really is the goal and always has been.
The team, I mean, you and Tomio both reference this now, the camaraderie of the team, everyone getting along. We saw in the celebration, everybody jumping up and down, embracing each other. And that's a difficult thing to do sometimes for a team to find that. From your experience as a player, how rare is that to find that kind of camaraderie on a team where everyone's clicking? And also considering Diplex came in kind of halfway through the split and you had to get everyone reacquainted with a new mid laner.
In my experience, it's been pretty easy. The only time I think I struggled was EG split, which was partially due to remote play during COVID, I think.
Yeah.
But like every team I've played on has always had similar feelings, and I think it's just generally easy because I've been on top teams. I've been very fortunate, and I think when you're winning, it's kind of easy to like build friendships with your teammates. And he was rolling around on his little wheelchair there. I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, it's really important. And I think it makes it easier on winning teams. But when Diplex came in, he just fit right in. And within a day, he was just like one of the boys, one of the rats, as we call them.
Oh, rats. You call yourselves rat? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, we're the rats in here. We're closed off in our little room. The main team's doing review. They close our doors on us. Don't come out. We're stuck in here. They're little rats.
Was that something that the team came up with about themselves, or how did this name come to be?
Honestly, it could have been Diamond who made it, but it goes back to 2018 Academy.
Oh.
Like, it was a joke then, and it kind of carried over, I think, through the ages.
All right, well, hopefully you earned yourself some cheese after that win. So thank you, Zeyzal, for coming on. Is there any chance, I know that the two of you are confirmed, is there any chance anybody else behind you wants to hop on? I know I see Fake God, I see some other players.
Another interview?
Anybody wants to hop on, we'd love to talk with anyone. It's not required, though.
Aaron's gone, man.
They're hiding. They're hiding right now. All right, Zeyzal, I'll give you the final shout-out, Sen. Anybody you want to shout out at home? Any final words you have for all the fans that were cheering on Cloud9 along the way?
Thanks for believing in us to all the fans, and shout outs to my teammates, all the C9 management. They've been great. My coach, my fellow players, even the LCS players were watching and cheering for us, and they've given us advice throughout this whole time. It really, thanks to C9, I think we really all came together, and it's been really good being here again.
It's been a great year for the org, great year for your team. Thank you so much, Zeyzal, for coming on and chatting with us. And congratulations on a long split, a lot of work, and well-deserved win. All right, now we'll bring it back here to the desk to close out the day as we bid farewell to Cloud9 to let them go celebrate their win as a team. Dragku, it was the series score that you predicted, or rather the team win that you predicted, maybe not the series score. What was your thoughts overall as you reflect on the day?
It was hooning time for the first few games, but the last game was not hooning time. I think it definitely should have been a 5-game series, but I think Dig had a bit of a little road bump in the draft for the 4th game, drafting 4 AP.
That was pretty rough. Yeah, the cast were talking about that a lot. So talk about from the Dignitas side here, as I'll get Beatdown's thoughts afterwards. When you're a team that's behind, I know their spirits will be a little bit low, but they still showed so much promise. What do you feel about them as a team and their prospects as players going forward?
Well, I mean, you can just never give up like in a competitive game, right? Like doesn't matter if you draft like 5 AP, you still gotta like try your best.
Yeah.
So you know, it was like they fought hard, but it just wasn't enough. But I think like all of the players are like really good. Like, you know, like the first few games Hoon was carrying, and then Insanity has always been good. And I just guess he hasn't got another shot at LCS. And then yeah, Diamond as well, and yeah, Spawn, they're all like great players. Xu as well, like he stepped up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like you said, they never stopped trying, even when they were super far behind in that game number 4. Beatdown, I want to give it over to you to give your final thoughts on the series as it played out. We were both wrong on our predictions.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, Cloud9 that took
happens.
it, but still reason to celebrate.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's a lot of things to be happy about overall. I mean, I think it really showed in who we chose to interview there. Tomio and then Zeyzal. You have this both ends of the spectrum here in terms of player experience, trying to grind it out in the NACL. We have Tomio, who we saw from Zenith, come all the way here finally, or his second time around at this level of play, really trying to continue that development. You have Zeyzal, who, I mean, has been a big staple in North American League of Legends, world semifinalist, all of these things.
In his rookie year, he made world semifinals. Like, Zeyzal's a legend in NA.
For sure. And the point is that you have the both ends of the spectrum here today, winning NACL because they want to continue developing. They want to make it back to that pro level. And that's literally what it's all about.
And I just love hearing them talk about how much they credit the team and everyone working together. So that is it for an entire spring split of North American Challengers League. Thank you, Dragu, for coming on. While I give the final closeout, I want to give you one final mission here. I have hidden a couple of Easter eggs around the couch. So in the vein of just kind of breaking apart the place even more and completely destroying their living room, let's go find all the eggs. Thank you to production. Thank you to Monkey Bubble. Thank you to Rally Cry. Thank you to Emily, our amazing producer. Thank you to everybody on the broadcast who helped put the show together, especially to the players who wanted to compete. We wouldn't have this show if it weren't for all of you. We'll be back in summer with more North American Challengers League action, and we'll see you there.